everybody, Caleb here, back again with more Red Knot, and this time we actually have a guest.
It's not really that surprising, though, is it?
No, not really. In fact, people are going to be like, "Oh, no, Dave or Lord," but unfortunately, they couldn't be here for this wonderful reading of Chapter 2 of 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, yeah. But here we are.
Yeah, ch2a feels about the same way I do about this
Yeah,
crap.
we were just talking about who's going to read first, and as long-time listeners may know, I have this superstition because every time I read the first of a story, it turns out to be really, really bad. But I was just
Right.
like, we already know how bad it is.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. In fact, if you were there at the marathon, you heard how angry ch2a got over the story.
Yeah.
I think everybody got pissed at one point and just started screaming. If you could hear anybody over Dave's wind
Oh
tunnel.
my God. Yes, the time tunnel. I forgot about that. Oh my goodness.
In case you missed the marathon and thus you have no idea why we're reading chapter 2 of this crap, double crap by the way, for the marathon, which was for a new computer, which I'm still in the process of ordering, but we're getting there.
Baby steps, baby steps.
We were taking $50 donations, so for every $50 we got, and every $50 we still get, we will read another chapter of 50 Shades of Double Crap.
Yeah, basically it's if you send a specifically $50 donation, we'll read another chapter.
And for those who wanted us to read Twilight, by the way, that's $27.
Yeah, $27 donation will get us reading another chapter of Twilight. We've read one chapter, and that's all we got for Twilight.
But we had two $50 donations for specifically 50 Shades of Grey. So we didn't get the chance to read Chapter 2 on the marathon, so we're doing it now.
Yes,
Unfortunately, but we promised.
we promised, and we accepted that money, knowing full well what it would cost us.
Here's what I'm going to do. Since the marathon is over, you can still donate $50 as, a one-time donation, maybe a recurring monthly donation over on Patreon, however you want to do it. Because, I can take things through PayPal or you can even donate right on my channel page. Anywhere from $1 to $500 if you so choose. But basically, we're going to, assuming we get another $50, we're going to read including chapter 3, on YouTube for everybody to watch up to chapter 3. I still have to edit the marathon videos, but yeah. And then for every additional $50 we get for chapters 4 to whenever this shit ends, hopefully soon, but likely not, they will be Patreon only. So, you don't have to. Patreon basically works is you can give me a single donation, or it can be a reoccurring donation. So if you just want to give me $1 a month, that's all I get based on if I actually upload any content onto Patreon. You're probably better at explaining this than I am.
Basically, Patreon is a platform for you to support creators that you like. With Patreon, they are able to give rewards for tiers of contributions. So, like at the $15 level, you might have this. At the $5 level, you might have this. They're able to give that. You're also able to contribute, as you've said, per thing that they do, for thing that is accomplished, updates and things like that, which Kassie has massive amounts of updates, and she updates so regularly. I cannot stress this enough. There is so much awesome stuff that is uploaded and updated. So if you ever want someone who updates regularly, you've tuned into the right program. But,
and everybody's like, "Oh, regularly, huh? When's the next episode of BFFT coming out, huh?
Well, essentially, this is bad fan fiction, so the names have been changed to protect the stupid.
Which are pretty stupid.
But the neat thing about Patreon is that You can give as little or as much as you want. You can give monthly, you can give by update, you can stop any time. It's really nice. It's a good platform that helps creators to get by because, I mean, sometimes you don't want to commission like a whole picture or a comic or something like that, and sometimes you don't want to feel like, well, what can I buy to help them? Because a lot of the time, when we have like tie-in merchandising, we don't get a lot from that. But with something like Patreon, you can give to the creators and help them to keep creating and not feel like you have to buy something that's just going to take up space or something you don't really want, which they're only going to get a little bit of profit from anyway.
Yeah, and also the nice thing about Patreon is if 50 people decided to give me $1 each, that's $50 a month.
Yeah.
And that automatically pays for 50 Shades of Grey. Because I get $50 a month from just 50 people showing up and giving me $1. I remember my brother's ex-girlfriend, because I was telling her about my show, specifically about Red Knot. And she's like, hey, if I gave you a copy of 50 Shades of Grey, would you read it? And I just looked at her and went, yes. I don't want to, but I would.
We didn't even know how bad it was before the marathon. Like, I had heard things, but I've never...
Yeah, I heard it was absolutely horrendous, but of course you have no idea until you experience it yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things that it's that bad, but you really cannot fathom how horrible it is until you're actually sitting down, having this stark typeface staring at you. It's like, I remember when we were reading Twilight, and I reflected on the fact that we have read Twilight fanfiction that is better than Twilight.
Yeah.
This is not Twilight fanfiction that's better than Twilight.
No.
Twilight is better than this.
No, this is MIL levels of bad.
Yeah, and MIL levels of horribly misappropriated and misrepresented kink.
Yeah. Oh, somebody gave me a lovely little tip. There's something to do with a tampon eventually.
Oh, God.
And also, rape that's not treated like rape.
Yes, now I did know about that. I did know about a lot of the stuff where it's either borderline or outright rape that she says for him to stop, and even uses a safe word, which he not only ignores but makes a big deal out of ignoring. So that's the sort of delight and healthy relationship that we have to look forward to.
Oh, lovely. I've made it no secret on my various shows that I enjoy reading non-con, even dubious consent, but something outright horrible and malicious that I'm supposed to take as okay or sexy is not fine by me.
Yeah, it bothers me too, because I don't know, like I can understand the difference between fantasy and reality. In fact, there are very few stories that I've read that I thought, wow, it's intense, and it's not healthy, but it's passionate and it's fiery and it gets me going. But I'm not stupid enough to think that this would work in the real world, or that this is acceptable for any real person to do. And the thing about 50 Shades of Grey is that, like, it feels like somebody wrote this out of complete ignorance, and it's so ham-fistedly presented that it doesn't seem like it really knows what's really going on, and doesn't really make the boundaries between fantasy and the real opinions and thoughts of this person clear. And I think that's why so many people have a problem with it. Like, I don't really have a problem with, I have more of a problem with people that can't tell between fantasy and reality than I do with an unacceptable fantasy. But at the same time, this seems like an awkward combination of the two, like a really kind of, easily criticized fantasy, along with very poor presentation that makes it seem like it's blurring those lines in an uncomfortable and unhealthy way,
Yeah. So I suppose instead of stalling, we should get started.
Yeah, except I've just run out of something to drink. I need to get something to drink.
Okay.
So I will be back, and I may actually make it something strong, because God help me with this. Well, I'm back. I actually have this really lovely wine called Milleflores, which means 1,000 flowers. And it's got this beautiful, beautiful bottle. And I thought, this story doesn't deserve to have wine drunk while you. It just doesn't deserve.
In fact, I think they do drink wine during this story.
Well, of course they do, because that's the stereotypical thing you drink when you have sex or do bondage or something. And I was just like, I'm not going to drink wine during this story. It does not deserve this wine. This wine is way too good to be drunk while I'm reading 50 Shades of Grey. Well, let's read 50 Shades of Shit.
50 Shades of double the crap.
You want me to?
If you want to.
What a thing to say. I will, because I know you don't want to, and we may never get started if I don't. So.
Well, I can.
No, it's all right. Are we switching off by paragraph?
Sure.
All right. My heart is pounding. The elevator arrived on the first floor, and I scrambled out as soon as the door slide opened, stumbling once, but fortunately not sprawling onto the immaculate sandstone floor.
Because, it's not like I was a complete retard when I went to his office and fell flat on my face.
I race for the wide glass doors, and I'm free in the bracing, cleansing, damp air of Seattle. Those are some choice adjectives there, Don. Raising my face, I welcome the cool, refreshing rain that we didn't really say was happening, but whatever. I close my eyes and take a deep, purifying breath. Someone has used the thesaurus very well.
Yes.
Trying to recover what's left of my equilibrium. Your equilibrium was shit before, and it's probably shit now, actually.
Yeah.
Anastasia Steele, action hero.
No man has ever affected me the way Christian Grey has. And I cannot fathom why. Is it his looks? His civility? Civility? Okay, well, power? I don't understand my irrational reaction.
I'm a doctor, damn it.
I'm a doctor, damn it, and I breathe an enormous sigh of relief. Oh, crap, my sentence is still going. My paragraph. Damn it.
Yeah, she breathes an enormous sigh of relief and lets out the biggest fart that she's ever had. It would make sense too, because you go to meet someone important or do something important for a friend.
And that's of course when you let out the worst sounding fart, horrible smelling one ever.
That or you manage to hold on, but only just, but right before it happens, right before the meeting, you couldn't have taken care of this when you went to the bathroom for the 50th time waiting. No, it had to happen right when they're opening the door and introducing themselves to you, and you're like, I really need to fart, really, really bad.
I shouldn't have had those beans before I came to work today.
What's terrible is that, in this sort of situation, it's always something innocuous. It's you felt like you've been good today. You feel like there's no way it's going to happen. But you get there and it's why do I have to fart this badly? It's so horrible. I know my stomach's going to gurgle and he's going to notice. I really, really need to fart, but I got to hold on. This can't take long. Surely it can only take half an hour, maybe an hour tops. I can hold on to a fart that long, and you're thinking, and you're just obsessed over it the whole time. I don't know why we don't see. Well, I do know why we don't see. But it would be more realistic if this woman were just yeah, I fell all over the floor and asked all the wrong questions and was generally an airheaded idiot. I really just need to fart. I'm out in the open. I fart.
I've been so focused on holding it in that I've just been completely stupid this entire time.
That's totally my point. It would explain so much about this stupid idiot and this story.
I don't think I've ever obsessed that much over not farting. What are we even talking about?
We're trying desperately to make sense out of a completely incoherent slog.
What in heaven's name was that all about? Leaning against one of the steel... Really? Okay. The steel pillars of the building, I valiantly attempt to calm down and gather my thoughts. I shake my head. Holy crap! What was that? My heart steadies to its regular rhythm. I'm so losing Captain Kirk here. And I can breathe normally again. I head for the car.
Most illogical.
Oh my god, don't. Oh crap.
What?
Now I'm seeing Star Trek. Yeah, imagining this now.
Well, they are one of the premier couples.
I know.
It's Japan has Shaw and Amuro, America has Kirk and Spock. As I leave the city limits behind, I begin to feel foolish and embarrassed as I replay the interview in my mind. Yes, you should feel foolish and embarrassed because you are in fact an embarrassing fool.
Yes.
Surely I'm overreacting to something that's imaginary. That is an
What part of this whole thing was imaginary?
That is an awkward sentence too. That's so stupid. This is so poorly written. Oh my god. When did this person get out of the 8th grade? Did they? Was it just like a Mercy graduation?
Okay, I'm actually going to be honest with you. I'm going to cut that small bit out because one of my rules is not to openly insult the author.
No, seriously, it's awful.
Well, yes, I know, but I'm not... I mean, the part about if she ever got out of 8th grade.
Well, look at it. I mean, I'm seriously saying this is a valid criticism, though. I mean, this is a valid criticism. This is middle school level writing. It's so awkwardly phrased. It's not trying to be hateful to the author, although I very well could be, but it's stupid.
Well, from what I hear, she's an asshole, but that's what I hear. I never met her, so I can't say.
Well, I cannot say that I hate her as a person because I've never met her, but I can say that her writing is puerile at best. It's sophomoric. This is literally 8th grade level stuff at best. That's what I mean by it. I'm not saying that she's a bad person or something. She's just a bad writer. So I'm
just clarifying because, like, I think I told you when I read the Sins of Sailing books, I just went off the deep end about the writer's credibility and, like, just said some really not very nice things. And I'm like, I'm just going to cut all that out because that's just me being upset and ranting.
Well, I mean, I'm not really so much being upset as I am being, disappointed.
Well, I'm just clarifying, like, I just, like, I don't feel it's, like, basically what I was saying was I was criticizing her as a person and not her work.
Yeah,
I went over the deep end.
But this is definitely,
and I just want to, make sure.
Yeah, this is definitely criticizing her work. Don't worry, I'm not.
Okay, I'm just saying.
No, don't worry. I'd never. No. I mean that would not be something that I would do. She's not Jenna after all. But like, no, what I meant.
This is MIL level.
It is. That's part of my point. Like, this is so puerile. This is so childishly written, and that was my point about the whole 8th grade thing. I mean, that it's so middle school fan fiction level. I mean, I really don't know. Maybe this was written in 8th grade. Who knows?
I don't know how old the author is.
I don't know.
I've closed out my browser, so I can't check.
This is what I mean. Like, I'm sorry it came off as me, attacking the author. I don't mean to be attacking the author.
Well, I'm just like I better step in and mention something and then
No.
No, just to make
sure.
Yeah,
I promise you. I'm criticizing the level of the writing rather than the person. But I'm sure that if we go on, we will find plenty to criticize.
Yeah. I wonder how much of this. I mean, I don't know if there's a copy of it, how it originally was anywhere still, but I wish I had the original fanfic so I could compare it to this and see, like, how much of it is the same and how much of it changed.
Yes.
Because to what I've heard, it's mostly a copy paste, but I don't know.
Yeah, and it makes me wonder, like, who was who and how much of them was changed in the process of making them.
Well, I believe it was a Bella Edwards
Yeah,
story.
which is, I don't know, I've always found it odd to just completely redefine characters so much and yet keep them for some reason in. And I can't help but wonder that maybe if some of the worst things in this were because they were trying to do something with the whole vampirism thing, and they just had to change it to something else that they felt was extreme, and they just did it in a clumsy way. Like, I wonder about that.
Things we'll probably never be able to know, but that would be an interesting analysis I would like to do for the
Yeah,
show if there is an original copy of the fanfic
yeah. I
somewhere.
mean, if anybody has that handy or anybody can point us to it, that would actually be really interesting. I would like to know because, as bad fanfiction theaters, uh, you know, resident Twilight fanfiction fan, for some reason, I don't know why, I'm actually kind of curious about this too. I wonder about this too because like even and the title was probably different or maybe it wasn't. Maybe they just named him Christian Grey because it would be like a play on words. But it makes me think that the title might have been different too. So
It probably was. Of course, the fanfic could have been called 50 Shades of Grey, and since she just decided to change their
yeah,
names to reflect the title, I mean, who we don't really know. I just know what I've
yeah,
read. But anyway, who was
it was
reading?
me. It
I think
was
it was
me.
you.
I made
Okay.
I made the comment about
Sorry, we got way off
yeah.
topic because I felt I should mention something there. Keep going if you so choose. If not, I can keep reading.
Okay, so he's very attractive, not really confident, irrationally. Commanding, definitely. At ease with himself, he's stroking himself heavily at every moment. But on
Yeah,
the flip side, he's arrogant, yes, and for all his impeccable manners, he does not have impeccable manners. He was a dick.
pretty
He's
much.
autocratic and cold.
Autocratic?
Yes, autocratic. Someone was using their thesaurus.
I don't know what that
It's all
is.
right. She doesn't either.
Okay. Something I'll have to investigate later if I remember.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I know it's, just.
Need a minute?
Okay. To calm myself down, I will explain what autocratic means.
Okay.
It's basically like domineering.
Oh.
Domineering in the sense that they don't care about anybody but themselves. It's a very selfish sort of domineering.
Oh, well, then she could have just used the word
Yeah,
selfish.
very selfish, very domineering, very dominant. But maybe she didn't want to be overt. Not that it stopped her before, but anyway, I'm just imagining this author's like sitting there with a thesaurus in one hand and typing with her other hand.
I've done it
I've done
before
it too.
because
That's
I
why
thought it
it's so
made me
funny.
sound smarter. I'm like, how many times can I say this same word? I need to use a different word here because I've used this one word way too much. And it never occurred to me in my young years, maybe I should step away
Yeah.
for a few minutes and come back and try to rewrite the entire sentence or whatever it is I'm writing in a way that I don't have to use that word. Because I end up, when I write stories, I find that I keep talking about people's eyes for
Yeah.
some reason. And I'm like, nobody cares about somebody's eyes the 15th time, let alone the 10th time, let alone the 3rd time I'm talking about somebody's eyes.
Well, I think it can be a useful focus because the eyes are really indicative of a lot of things, especially like emotions and motivations and whether someone's being, truly honest or forthcoming or something. But yeah, I have certain things as well that are just like, I do too much of that. I've got to stop doing it. Okay.
Okay.
Uh, well, on the surface, an involuntary shiver runs down my spine.
How? You don't know him. I don't. I hate you.
I hate you. I
I
hate
hate you
you.
so much. Yes, I hate you. Insert Selby clip here.
Yeah, but no. He may be arrogant.
Basically, you could just take that little sentence out. Of course, it's on the surface. You don't know him too well. Though that probably is exactly how he actually acts.
Yeah,
given what we're
Yeah, I
reading.
get the feeling that none of these characters is particularly profound. Like none of them is going to tend to have any depth at all that we're going to be surprised in.
He is an asshole. She
An idiot.
is an asshole, but submissive
An
to
idiot.
him.
She's also an idiot. Oh, he may be arrogant.
Then you have that creepy thing came with the third book.
Yeah.
If you remember that, and I was just like, "What the hell is going on?"
Maybe that's just
these books got dark and creepy fast.
Maybe that's just a what if. Who knows really? But
I don't know what that was, but I assume it was the synopsis for the third book. But we shall see.
Let's hope not.
I will shut up now.
He may be arrogant, but then he has a right to be. Well, actually, no, he doesn't have a right to be. But he has a right to be arrogant. He's accomplished so much at such a young age. He doesn't suffer fools gladly, but why should he?
How old is he? Was he like 30-something,
Who fucking knows?
I don't even remember if we talked about that. It's been, what, a month
now? A
couple
of weeks. Again, I'm irritated that Kate didn't give me a brief biography, which technically I have to agree with her here. She should have. If she expects someone else to do an interview for her, she should give her a biography of the person that she's supposed to be interviewing.
But also, if this guy is that big and that famous, and one of the guys who regularly donates to the school or whatever it is he does, you should know him, or at least of him.
Yeah, and also I have very little sympathy for...
Also, you can do research, can't you?
Yeah, I mean, she has the internet, so what's the problem? Everybody knows everybody's business nowadays. But more than that, I have very little sympathy for her because she should have read over these interview questions before she got to the interview. Like, it's a little bit hard to believe that she didn't and had no idea of what she was going to be asking. And even while she was asking, was just reading out things and not even reading it. Sorry, what did you say?
I said, or a filter.
Yeah.
Are you gay?
Yes.
I'm like, what kind of question is that? That ain't none of your business. That ain't nobody's business but him and whoever he decides to sleep
with. And why
with.
would you ask that for, like, a school paper? Like, what even would that have, and why would that even appear in a school paper? I just don't get that.
I don't know. Maybe it's a really crappy school paper that nobody gets, and so they tried to be like, you know, those really weird and out there tabloid papers you see at the store when you're in checkout.
But I mean, why would you ask that as a closing question in your interview? Why would you ask that of all things?
Maybe I want to imagine him with somebody else like Donald Trump. I don't know.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry to put that pairing in your head.
God. You know, that reminds me of what John Oliver said recently about Donald Trump. It's like a mummified scrotum holding cotton candy.
What the hell?
It was related to beauty contests and so forth. It's a mummified scrotum holding cotton candy.
Anyway. While cruising along I-5, my mind continues to wander. I'm truly perplexed as to why not just say, I'm confused? Why do you fill your sentence with things you don't really need to fill it with? I'm truly perplexed as to what makes someone so driven to succeed. That is a great question. Why didn't you ask it at the interview?
Yes. You'd think, but no.
Some of his answers were so cryptic. Pointlessly so, but they were. As if he had a hidden agenda. Like throwing you onto his desk and having his way with you.
Or maybe just throwing you out of his office.
I would, after the whole gay thing. I'd be like, okay, we're not talking anymore because you're stupid. Bye.
Well, honestly, like, it didn't really seem like he had a hidden agenda. He just seemed like every other corporate or political asshole. He never answers a question. He just talks around it. You know, if you really want to give an interview to these people, you have to make them answer at least one question, not just talk around it constantly. Like, call a spade a spade. He didn't answer anything. He just fucked around.
And he will be doing so quite literally later.
Sadly.
And Kate's questions, the adoption, asking him if he was gay. I shudder.
You didn't have to ask him!
I can't believe I said that.
I can't believe you didn't read it first.
I at least we're acknowledging that was stupid.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Ground, swallow me up now.
Why would you think that now? You're in your car, you're leaving, you're gone. You're not even there. You would think that if you were there, you wouldn't think that driving home.
I don't know. After doing something immensely stupid, I still feel pretty bad about it afterward and wish I'd disappear sometimes. But that's me. Every time I think of that question in the future, I will cringe with embarrassment.
Yeah, but my point is she didn't at the time. She didn't really. She commented on it and she was like, but it was like she didn't even read these things. And I don't even know why she let... if she had any sense at all, she would be like, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't read these over beforehand. I wasn't thinking about that when I read it. Let's just forget about that.
Yeah.
Anybody with any sense.
I know. Damn, Catherine. Fuck your name. Kavanaugh.
Kavanaugh.
Whatever. I don't care anymore.
Yes, damn her. Damn her. Damn her to hear. I checked the speedometer. I'm driving more cautiously than I would on any other occasion.
Why? Wouldn't this be the time where you notice you're driving a little faster and more erratic?
That's what I was going to say. I'm driving more cautiously, blah, blah, blah. And I know it's the memory of two penetrating grey eyes gazing at me and a stern voice telling me to drive.
Oh, fuck you.
Shaking my head, I realised that Grey is more like a man double his age. Bullshit.
That is full of crap. That doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, we were in his office during these stupid interview questions, and he didn't act like anybody who is a... Whatever.
He acted like a double talking dickbag.
Pretty much. Forget it, Anna. I scolded myself.
No. Her name's Anna.
Oh, right. I forgot. Anna for anal. Forget it. Damn it. Forgive it, Anna. I scolded myself. I decide that all in all, it's been a very interesting experience. No, it hasn't. It's been a shitty, horrible experience.
It's been so dull. So much nothing happened.
And dumb. Dumb happened is pretty much what happened. But I shouldn't dwell on it. Put it behind you. I never have to see him again. Well, considering this is a book and it's pretty long, I am gonna say you're a liar.
It would be if this were actually a book where it was like she's so embarrassed that all of the rest of the book is her finding creative ways to avoid him. He keeps coming around and she keeps finding ways to not be there.
Well, a better story would probably do that. A better story would also, like, maybe she goes home and she's like, I really should apologize for all that crap. I'm going to write an email or maybe apologize to him in person would be better or something. And then it would kind of make a little more sense and, I don't know, maybe lead to a better story.
I mean, I don't have any respect for her anyway, but I would probably have negative respect for her if she actually apologized to this dude because he was just giant shit.
Well, yeah, but I mean for the shitty interview questions, like, are you gay? I'm like, she...
Yeah, I mean, I know that, but no.
Well, whatever. I'm like... In a better written story, it would make sense.
I inadvertently quoted Selby.
What?
I inadvertently quoted Selby.
We'll do this a lot.
But no.
Go away, I hate you. Let's see. Put it behind you. I never have to see him again. I'm immediately cheered by the thought. I don't know why, but...
Did this not occur to you before? You went hundreds of miles out of your way to interview this person who is notoriously inaccessible. Why would it surprise you that you would never have to see him again? Why would this even be a thing? Why would you ever think that you would have to see him again?
I switch on the MP3 player because iPod is copyright, or I couldn't think of another way to state I'm listening to music in my car because I'm technology savvy, I guess.
Yes. So trendy, these MP3 players and these MP3s.
Yes. And turn the volume up loud, deafening everybody around me. As I drive by, sit back and listen to thumping indie rock music.
Thumping indie rock music? That phrase has never been used before and never used since. Have you ever listened to indie rock music?
Probably, but thumping is not the word I would associate with rock music.
Thumping is not the word I would associate with indie rock music now. Like, I like a lot of indie rock, but I would never call it thumping. That's not something that I associate as an adjective with indie rock, and I like indie rock. I'm actually very keen on indie rock.
As I press down on the accelerator, as I hit the I-5, you're already on I-5.
You're already, yes.
I realize I can drive as fast as I want. No, there's a speed limit.
We live in a small community of duplex apartments in Vancouver, Washington. Oh, aren't you special? Aren't you hoity-toity? Close to the Vancouver campus of WSU. Oh, I guess it's Washington State University. I'm lucky. Yes, you are lucky. You're very lucky. Kate's parents bought the place for her, and I pay peanuts for rent.
Wait. So they bought the entire apartment?
Yeah, that makes me wonder too, actually.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah. It's been home for 4 years now. As I pull up outside, I know Kate is going to want a blow-by-blow account, and she is tenacious. Did she use that word?
She totally wants to blow.
Don't we all? But, didn't she use tenacious a lot in the first chapter? She used some word a lot, and it was
she used tenacious, like 2 variations of tenacious, right? Side by side each other, and you freaked out, if I recall correctly. You got pissed.
Yeah, I want to say that she did use that, one of her pet words. Well, at least she has the mini disc, which I have never seen a mini disc recorder ever in the history of ever. Hopefully I won't have to elaborate much beyond what was said during the interview. Well, you know you will. Girl.
Anna, you're back. Kate sits in our living area. Not our living room, just an area we live in. Surrounded by books, okay? She's clearly been studying for finals, even though that should have been what you were doing, and you should have told your friend to do her damn job or get somebody from the newspaper to do the job.
Yeah, you'd think that she'd actually get someone who actually was studying journalism and was from the newspaper that she supposedly is running, but, 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, because when my brother has a newspaper assignment and he's got a cold, immediately he goes to me and says, Cassie, you do it. And I'm like, okay, because that's perfectly reasonable.
Can you ask this guy if he's gay, and adopted? Because these are the kind of things that newspaper people do.
Though she's still in her pink flannel pajamas decorated with cute little rabbits. Did we describe this earlier? You don't need to describe it again, but I'm not sure. The one she reserves for the aftermath of breaking up with boyfriends, for assorted illnesses, and for general moody depression.
Wait, is she talking about the pajamas she reserves or the rabbits she reserves?
I assume the pajamas decorated with cute little rabbits, but we're not really sure.
Yeah, because we mentioned pink pajamas earlier, but we didn't mention the rabbits.
Also, general moody depression.
Yeah, because, depression's just a mood you get in. It's nothing big.
Yeah, it's just a general thing. Just when you're upset.
Yeah, it's a slight malaise, it passes by.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She bounds up to me and hugs me hard. I thought she was sick.
Yeah, I thought she was fucking sick as a dog. Why is it? She's studying, she's lounging about in her pajamas, and she bounds up and hugs you, despite the fact that she could be contagious. What a great friend.
Totally.
She's pawned all of her work off on you. You've had to go hundreds of miles out of your way. You've had to take basically your entire day to interview this dude. You fucked it up because she's an idiot, and you're an idiot. And now she's basically, making it clear how much hooky she was playing. Great. Thanks. Thanks, Catherine. You were... I'm beginning to think Aina was right for damning you earlier. Oh, wait, it's my turn. I'm supposed to read. I was beginning to worry. I expected you back sooner.
Oh, I felt I made good time considering the interview ran over.
It did not run over.
No, you spent maybe 5 minutes in that guy's office being dumb.
Seriously.
I waved the mini disc recorder. It's just a digital recorder.
Yeah, seriously. Just call
I have one.
It's call a spade a spade. This is what I keep saying. Call a fucking spade a spade. It doesn't need to be anything other than a spade because that's all it is.
I waved it at her.
Yeah, I waved it at her too.
I threw it in her face, and it hit her right in the forehead. I think it broke her nose.
You're sick now, bitch.
There's blood everywhere. You clean that up after. Yes, ma'am, I'm so sorry.
I'm tasting metal.
Horrible, horrible people.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I went there.
We are terrible people.
Ana, thank you so much. I owe you, Ana. Ana, thank you so much for doing this. I owe you, I know. How was it? What was he like? Oh no, here we go. The Catherine Kavanagh Inquisition. That's like a team of dancers. It's the June Taylor dancers.
I struggled to answer her question. What can I say? It went horribly. That's what you said. Your questions were fucking stupid, and I'm stupid for not telling you no or looking over the questions before I went in there and made myself look like a dumbass.
He was an asshole. He didn't answer any of the questions at all, in any way. I'm glad it's over. I wish it were over. And I don't have to see him again. He was rather intimidating, you know. I shrug. Oh, God. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right.
He's very focused, intense even, and young, really young. We hadn't adequately stated this up to now, but we want to really emphasize...
Is he like 19? Is he 10? Maybe he's 20. I don't know. How fucking old is he? Did he fucking say? Was it ever stated? Whatever.
Really obsessed with the fact that he is young. And I'm doing finger quotes, even though you can't see them, but he's young.
Kate gazes innocently at me. I frown at her.
Oh my God. Don't you look so innocent. Why? This writing is the definition of sophomoric. Or moronic, but probably sophomoric and moronic.
Yeah, she needs a good editor. Somebody to help her write better.
She needs an editor. Let's just say.
Well, this was self-published, if I recall.
Ah.
Which, by the way, I will be doing a whole bunch of self-published books soon, because I got a nifty little account at a certain thing that would be nice if they paid me money or something for mentioning them, where I get free ebooks or cheap ebooks.
Woo!
Yay!
I think self-publishing can be good.
It's just, it just really helps if you have somebody or a whole bunch of somebodies to look over your work before you do finally, put it out there, because once you do, you can't take it back and, make changes.
Yeah, I mean, an editor is good as much for you as for the people that are reading your stuff.
Yeah.
I think and I think really a lot of big name books, like we've talked about this many times with like Harry Potter and Twilight as well, these are books written by people that really would have benefited from a firm editorial hand that obviously had no editorial hand because people were so afraid to correct them or say anything. They were afraid they were going to take this successful series somewhere else. And, I understand that, but the quality just was not there. It just kept getting worse and worse because these people kept buying their own hype more and more. So, I don't know. I think that whole thing just needs to be like, people need to understand that editors are there and proofreaders are there, for good things. It's a good thing.
I mean, not saying if you self-publish it's immediately bad or
flawed. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just, it would just help to have another set of eyes. But I know a lot of people, You know, it's just so much easier to cut out all that crap and just like, okay, I wrote this thing, I did my best, here you go.
Yeah, and that's fine.
Give me money, and I hope you like it.
I mean, that's fine. I really especially take exception with it when it is something that is, super promoted, super pushed, like a mega series, like the aforementioned Twilight and Harry Potter and whatnot. It really is inexcusable when something has been built up with millions of dollars of promotion to be this great thing, and you get around to reading it and it's just not great. It's not even good, really. It could have been good, like there were some good ideas, but it ends up sort of shitting all over itself in small ways because the editorial just was not there. And you can tell that, more and more as it goes, they were more and more afraid to actually say anything and insist that something be done. So you get a subpar product.
Who is reading?
It was me. I got off on a tangent again.
Okay, it's all right.
Why didn't you give me a biography? It sounds like I'm saying it at you. I'm sorry. I'm not saying it at you.
I didn't give you a biography because I didn't think you needed one because we're aware that this is a book written by a Twilight fan.
He made me feel like such an idiot for skimming on basic research, Kate Clamsack.
You were an idiot.
Yes.
You didn't do anything.
And saying he made me feel like such an idiot. No, you were an idiot for not doing that research. Like, if you can think about it now, why didn't you think about it before you went? If you know you're supposed to do basic research and know something about someone before giving them an interview, why the hell didn't you do it? Why?
And why do you keep saying biography? Why not just, some simple info, like, he's this dude, he runs this corporation, he was this old when he started this company, or you can find out during that part during the interview, and he's pretty fucking rich, and he's going to be doing a thing at our school when people graduate.
Or, I mean, you could even make it timely and be like, why didn't you give me a website? Why didn't you give me a disc with his information? Why didn't you give me a fact sheet? A fact sheet would be even better. Why didn't you give me a fact sheet? Why didn't you get me up to speed? Because she should have done that. But Aina should have done the research herself. Like, if she wasn't getting this and she agreed to do it.
In the end, what should have happened was Anna looks at Kate or Catherine, whatever the fuck her name is, and says, "No, I don't work for your newspaper. Fuck you. Get somebody who does work there." And there's the end of it. Because she didn't need to be going in the first place.
Or even if you wanted to be nicer about it, just be like, look, I'm not trained for this and I'm really not comfortable doing it. I'm sorry you're ill, but you've got plenty of people that work for the paper.
I mean, I can understand they're all, maybe they're all busy doing something else, because, it's kind of like a student newspaper. You're covering all kinds of things. I mean, like I said, my brother works for the local newspaper, and they're always doing things. They probably could use more reporters.
Yeah.
But they're not going to give people work who aren't part of the staff.
Yeah, I mean, and it's irresponsible all round. And it's not really fair either it's really, this wasn't fair to Aina, it wasn't fair to, douchebag, it wasn't fair to anybody, because nobody involved was really adequately prepared for what was happening. It was totally unprofessional, and it was just not, it was the definition of pissant. It makes people look at this paper, and it makes them think, wow, this is a pissant newspaper. They can't even get...
Or she is on the staff. She's not very good at her job.
Yeah, I mean, really.
And they didn't take talking to him as seriously as they should have. And that also makes him look down on the student paper.
Yeah, and on the students, you'd imagine, of the school. You would think that they would know this before going into it and not be like, yeah, we can just send anybody. Well, no, you really can't, especially when the student is involved with school. I mean, if you think pragmatically, making a really bad impression on him is not going to be something that's ultimately good for the school if he's a big contributor to the school's funds.
Yeah. And what would happen in real life is people would find this crap out and Kate would be removed from her position.
Yeah, exactly. They would be like, holy shit, I cannot believe you did this. And usually, you wouldn't just have questions like that to ask they would probably have to be decided on by everybody who's working at the newspaper, because you don't want to offend someone like that. You don't want to put them in an awkward position, and because you don't really have the clout. You're a student newspaper. You don't have any pull. You have no influence.
Geez, Anna, I'm sorry. I didn't think. No shit. And then I huff. Mostly he was courteous. Gray somehow turned into a girl. I'm not surprised.
What?
I accidentally said she instead of he. So
Oh.
I was making a joke. Mostly he was courteous. Not really. He's just kind
He was
of
totally not courteous. He was an asshole to you.
Yeah, he was kind of like, hey, I'm better than you, and so I'm quietly laughing inside about how stupid you are. Is pretty much what he was.
He was a giant shitlord, and he didn't even answer any goddamn questions. That just really gets to me. I cannot. I hate that about him.
Okay. Formal, slightly stuffy, slightly.
You know, that's made even funnier by the fact that it lagged and cut out, so it sounded like you were saying, okay.
Is the internet derping?
It just did it for 1 second, but it was that second.
Okay. Mostly he was courteous, formal, slightly stuffy, only slightly. Like he's old before his time.
No!
He doesn't talk like a man of 20-something. How old is he anyway?
What? What?
This is what I was bringing up earlier before ch2a, got back to read. If this was still a Twilight fanfic and better written, this would be an interesting bit of dialogue to hint at that he seems older than he actually is, which is weird. As this is also something that would make sense if you converted this to an original story, which it is, to in a better written story to show how somebody is more mentally and emotionally more mature than someone their age, even though there's nothing supernatural about them as far as we know.
Yeah, or even, I mean, it's like I was saying, it's like a poster. It's a by the book poster child sort of failure here, because she's telling us this as if to encourage us to believe this when there's really been no evidence whatsoever. He's
just kind of been an asshole. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be one thing if we saw evidence that he didn't speak like normal 27-year-olds, however 27-year-olds are supposed to speak, but it would have been interesting if we'd seen any real evidence of this, and she hadn't just been like, yeah, this is what I need you to believe for the story to continue and for you to continue believing in the story. That is so classic bad writing, because if the audience doesn't come to that conclusion themselves, you really should not be trying to make them reach that conclusion without actually building that around them. Like, if we could go back and be like, oh, I knew there was something off about, I noticed this, and this, but that wasn't what it was at all. He doesn't sound different at all. He just sounds like an asshole.
Yeah.
He's just some corporate dick. He sounds like every other corporate dick. He doesn't sound any different from a 27-year-old corporate asshole.
Your turn.
Shit, I'm eating a pretzel. I thought it was you.
Remember, you said every character turn.
I know I did. 27. Jeez, Aina, I'm sorry. I should have briefed you, but I was in such a panic. If you were in a panic about this, if it was that important, wouldn't it be that much more?
It wasn't last fucking minute. You don't get colds at the last fucking minute.
Good God.
Maybe the, food poisoning, but you've had some days, I'm sure, to be like, hey, I got a cold. Maybe I should get somebody else from the news part of the newspaper, another journalist, to go and do this interview for me, because I'm fucking horribly sick, and somehow I have miraculously gotten better in a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what a terrible cold you must have had. Let me have the mini-disc, and I'll start transcribing the interview. Oh, how gracious of you. You didn't expect Aina to do it for you.
You look better. Did you eat your soup? I asked Keen to change the subject because that will immediately make you better.
She's just curious because she spat in it.
Oh.
Yes, and it was delicious as usual.
How can you tell you got a cold?
Uh,
Usually your taste buds take a hiatus.
Yeah, it would probably.
Or if you're me, your chicken soup tastes like bean soup. That happened once. It was delicious though.
Most of the time, if you've got a cold like that, it's like, well, it's textured water with an interesting aroma that I can barely detect.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what any of this is. I'm just trusting in the label.
It says it's supposed to make me feel better if I eat this, so I'm doing so. But I do distinctly remember that I had a cold and it was so hard for me to eat a whole lot of food because it killed my hunger to the point where I could pretty much go the entire day without eating anything. That's, how not hungry I was. But I'm like, I have got to eat something because I have not ate anything all day. So I made a can of chicken soup and I'm like, well, I'm gonna try to eat what I can of this, and I took a sip of it, and I'm like, this is chicken soup I got, right? I'm like, yeah, that's some bits of chicken, and that's noodles, and in a broth. And I took another sip of it. I'm like, this tastes like bean soup. Tastes delicious, but it's like I'm eating bean soup. So yeah. Just thought I'd mention that because, yeah, my taste buds were like, bye.
Yeah, that kind of tends to be how it is when you're ill, especially if it's something in your head, you know. You could eat anything and it would basically taste the same as just about anything else. Or it wouldn't taste right either way.
Yeah. I mean, usually I do have a sense of taste, but it's either my appetite or I just have a horrible head cold that suffers rather than what something tastes like. Except for that once where it tasted like I was eating bean soup.
I'm feeling much better. She smiles at me in gratitude. I check my watch. How polite.
Did you give her that bowl of soup? I don't remember. I have to run. I can still make my shift at Clayton's.
Why? But Amy, you'll be exhausted.
I'll be fine. I'll see you later, bitch.
Because I really just don't want to spend this time with you.
Also, why would you have done this if you needed to go to work later?
Yeah, that's what I wonder. And especially if she was later than what's-her-face expected. You know? If you're cutting it that close, and you knew you'd be cutting it that close.
Why didn't I just go to work straight from there anyway?
Yeah, or just be like, call in and be like, you know, I'm going to be a little bit late today. I have to help a friend with something. It's an emergency. You know, if you're like half an hour late or an hour late, you know, at least you took the time to tell them.
Yeah.
I've worked at Clayton since I started at WSU. It's the largest independent hardware store in the Portland area. Yeah. It's the largest independent hardware store in the Portland area. And over the 4 years I've worked here, I've come to know a little bit about most everything we sell. Although, ironically, I'm crap at any do-it-yourself.
Of course you are.
Yes. I leave all that to my dad. I'm much more of a curl-up with a book and a comfy chair by the fire kind of girl, and I want to...
So does your dad work there, too? Does your dad own the store? Why would you leave this to your dad? I'm so confused.
This character is such a non-entity. And such a stereotype. You can use typical characteristics to help people to identify with your character, but this is ridiculous. This is stereotypical. This is not archetypal. This is stereotypical, and it's frankly offensive. I'm glad I can make my shift, as it gives me something to focus on that isn't Christian Grey. We're busy. It's the start of the summer season, and folks are redecorating their homes. Mrs. Clayton is pleased to see me, because of course it's a family-owned store.
I guess. Whatever. Ana! I thought you weren't going to make it today. How would you know this? Did she call you beforehand?
She shows no indication of having called them beforehand.
But I guess she did.
My appointment didn't take as long as I thought. What? What?
So she called in to say she wasn't working today. So she could have just stayed home and studied because she was worried about it.
And she rushed over to make her shift. despite the fact that she already has.
And then if she was coming, and instead she should have called and said, "Hey, I can come in today. Do you need me? Or did you fill my position with somebody else?" Wow, presumptuous.
I can do a couple of hours.
Oh. So you don't have a set schedule of when you're supposed to come in and work. It's just whenever you show up and say, "Yeah, I can do a couple of hours. Maybe 3 or 4, and I'm gonna go home and like get drunk and eat some pizza." I'll come in again whenever. This is like my volunteer hours over at the store. Because I was talking to him about it. I'm like, "Do you guys have a schedule or anything?" "No, the volunteer stuff is just come in whenever." And I'm like, "You guys don't have a schedule?" "No, it's just, it's your responsibility. Just come in when you want to, and we'll find you something to do." Okay. Which is the worst thing possible for me, because if I don't have a schedule, I'll never get anything done.
Yeah, most jobs are not like that. Especially if you're working retail, I have to say, it's kind of one of those things where they tend to know when they're going to be busy and they have people on more at that time, and I don't know.
Did you read that or did I?
Yeah, I read that.
Okay. I'm real pleased to see you.
She sends me to the storeroom because we've had enough of this conversation, apparently.
Why? You could just take her saying that out of there, or maybe elaborate upon it. There's no if she's your employer, she's just gonna go and be like, "Okay, go sign in, and I got Freddie on the cashier today, so I want you to bring some boxes out from the back and start putting stuff up."
Yeah,
because apparently you're a volunteer or something. Hell, that's what I do.
That really, it would have been much better if it had just been Mrs. Clayton saying this instead of us once again hearing it described by the author. She sends me to the storeroom to start restocking shelves, and I'm soon absorbed in the task.
When I arrive home later, Catherine is wearing headphones and working on her laptop. Her nose is still pink, but she has her teeth into a story. Is she eating books?
Awkward phrasing!
Yes. Also, how do you know what she's doing on her laptop? Are you looking over her shoulder? Like creepily close, like behind her, and just looking at what she's doing? Also, it's not gonna take your entire shift at work, or however long you decided to work, for her to listen to that interview. It was, 5 minutes long? So she's concentrating and typing furiously. I'm thoroughly drained, exhausted by the long drive, the grueling interview, and by being rushed off my feet at...
You weren't rushed off your feet! You got there and you were like, "Yeah, I can hang out for a couple of hours." And she was like, "I'm real pleased to see you." And she sent you to the storeroom. You were not rushed off your feet. You farted around and putted along, and you got your ass. You was like sitting.
You did the same thing I do when I'm at the store working. I slump onto the couch, thinking about the essay I have to finish and all the study. Then why didn't you just fucking stay home and work on that shit?
God.
You didn't fucking need money. You never said you needed to go and work to make sure you could pay your rent. You just said your rent was peanuts. It was peanuts in comparison to any other place. You are a fucking idiot and can't manage your fucking time. Do you need a parent?
I thought you said a parrot at first.
Well, maybe she needs a parrot to teach it her schedule,
Yeah.
and maybe to use wing attack to whack her in the back of the head when she starts to do stupid shit.
Which would be all the time.
The essay I have to finish and all the studying I haven't done today because I was holed up with...
You were holed up with him for like 5 minutes, dude!
The interview did not take fucking forever. How long did she say it was? An hour there and an hour back?
She
was gone 2 hours
seriously,
or so.
she spent more time in the car, one way.
And she didn't even have to go to work. She didn't even have to go to work, apparently.
I know, they weren't even expecting her. She had already apparently called them and been like, "I don't know if I can make it today," yet she tried to come at what she was originally scheduled as.
Why would you do that? I would just stay at home if I was that busy with schoolwork. I'm like, okay, I'm done with that now, and I have the day off from work because I didn't even know if I could go to work today. So I'm just going to go in my room, sit on my ass, I'm going to write my essay, and I'm going to study until I pass out. And then I'm going to wake up and
See,
go
I
to
know
school.
why she did it, though. I know why you do that. You know, you want to know why?
To make it look like she's dedicated.
To complain about it. Because, oh my god, I live such a frantic, furious life. I have all these things going on, despite the fact that at least half of it, if not most all of it, is completely voluntary, and I brought this on myself.
See, this could be easily solved by doing two things. One was the first thing we already suggested was don't go to work.
Yeah.
And tell your friend to fuck off because she's not really a friend and should do her own damn job. The second thing is we could still have all of this stuff going on, even though it's illogical.
Yeah.
But make your employers dickheads. And so that they didn't give you the day off and that they demanded, regardless, for you to come in.
That and, you know, maybe you and Kate are in dire straits. Maybe she's on the outs with her family. You know? Like maybe her...
Or maybe you do have to make the rent.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
I mean, that's okay, but no, you don't. You already said your rent was, as I was saying, peanuts. Practically nothing in comparison to what you could be paying.
Yeah, I mean, essentially these people live completely charmed lives, and yet that's part of my point. She's all frantic. She's got all these things going on to interfere with her studies because she wants to complain about it, because she wants it to seem like she isn't basically a Mary Sue in a completely ideal circumstance, which she is.
Yeah.
She is in a fantasy circumstance that is the most ideal circumstance possible.
But of course, it's all going to work out in the end. Unless she needs to complain about it.
Of course. And she's artificially generating reasons why, oh, this isn't really the ideal. You know, I have problems too. It's so typical with characters like this. It's a very transparent way to try and make a character not a Mary Sue who is a Mary Sue in every way. It's like every one of Jenna's problems. You've got some good stuff here, Aina. Well done.
No,
What?
she doesn't. That was a horrible interview. Even I could have done better than that. And I barely studied journalism.
I swear, a brain-damaged monkey could have done a better interview.
I'll have my brother read over this interview. Somebody who's worked for the newspaper for years, like decades, maybe. I don't know. He was doing it when I was in middle school and high school, so it's been at least 10 years he's worked for the newspaper. And even he's going to be like, that's fucking stupid. That's not reporting. That's not an interview. And the newspaper would never take it, let alone a journal or whatever the fuck the school news thing is. I forget.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's a trashy tabloid.
Yep. Nude pictures of E.T. hanging out with Santa Claus in the Carolinas.
Elvis is still not there.
An Elvis sighting in Antarctica.
Well done. I can't believe you didn't take him up on his offer to show you around. He obviously wanted to spend more time with you. No, he didn't. He did not. He had everything that he said and did seemed to give the impression that he wanted to be as far away from his...
Also, he had an appointment coming in.
Yes! Like, even if he says, oh, yeah, I can totally show you around and whatnot, even if you weren't having the worst possible social encounter of your life, it's really irresponsible of you to stay around and be like, yeah, show me around your company, being the president of your company, while you could be actually doing real business after I gave you a shitty interview and made you clearly uncomfortable. Rational thought.
You like it.
She gives me a fleeting quizzical look.
I flush, and my heart rate inexplicably increases. Why? Are you attracted to your roommate? That might be more interesting, even though you're both dumbasses.
Yeah, well, you're a match made in heaven, that's for sure.
That wasn't the reason, surely.
I love it when books tend to answer our Like we go back to it, and it's clearly, and it's almost like it could sense what we were going to talk about.
He just wanted to show me around, so I could see that he was lord of all he surveyed. Probably, 'cause he is kind of a dick. But I don't. Did he offer her to show her around? I don't remember that.
I think he did. I don't remember it. It's so forgettable.
Well, we also really don't want to remember it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it. It's so forgettable. It's so unexceptional that when we're not actually actively wanting to purge our minds of it, it's just completely unexceptional. It's just completely forgettable.
I realize I'm biting my lip, and I hope Kate doesn't notice, even though she's looking at me, I guess. But she seems absorbed in her transcription, which I guess she's been pissing around on that because it shouldn't have took her more than probably 30 minutes.
And really, anyone that can type, it should not take them that long to transcribe such a brief interview. Certainly not hours.
Yeah, that's why I said like 30 minutes. Like, listen to it maybe a few times, and then type, and then play it, and then maybe replay some parts to make sure you got it correctly, maybe fix any editing mistakes. I mean, this really should only take about 30 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, even if you want to put it down and come back to it later and just listen to it one more time to make sure you didn't get any typos or whatever, at the tops, you should already be done with that by the time she gets back from her work shift.
Yeah.
I hear what you mean about formal. Did you take any notes, she asks.
Formal? Why would she take notes? What was there to take notes on?
Well, because people who do journalism take notes. That's reporters are already...
Well, yes, I know this, but... but really, what was there to take notes on? Did you tell her to take notes? Did you ask her to take notes?
I'm literally saying that the author thinks that this is what journalists do. They scribble down notes, and she doesn't actually know why they would take notes. But she's got to ask because that's something that journalists, she is 100% sure, do.
No, I didn't.
That's fine. I can still make a fine article with this.
No, you can't. You can make jack shit with that. Unless you're just wanting to, hey, he said he wasn't gay, ladies. Try to go date him or some shit.
Yeah, it seems like they would have to really try hard to fling up some sort of story around it and just have the interview be tiny, tiny parts of that article. Like do a 5-page spread on dating CEOs and have the interview be an occasionally peppered line in there. Shame we don't have some original stills.
What the fuck do you mean by that? Mean pictures? You should have sent her with a fucking camera or a photographer.
Exactly. Send her with a photographer, or you should have requested these beforehand.
Oh my god, I should have Kelvin be reading this. He's gonna go fucking ballistic.
Seriously, who would not do this? She should have weeks beforehand, because she obviously would know weeks beforehand if she was going to get this interview or not. She should have sent in a request for stills from this dude. She could have got them from him, they could have put it in the newspaper, but she apparently pulled everything out of her ass and has never done an article before.
I love this next line. So, because me and you talk like this all the time, don't we?
Yeah. Good looking son of a bitch, isn't he?
Because that's flattering, and that's how people talk. And if they do talk like that, I don't associate with them. Because there is something wrong with them.
I think this is on the same level as horse doovers.
I flush.
I suppose so. I try hard to sound disinterested, and I think I succeed.
Who cares? It's okay to say you thought somebody was hot, even though he was a dick. That's exactly what you say. I thought he was hot, but he seemed like the biggest fucking asshole I've ever seen in my entire life.
That, and not everybody has the same standards of beauty. I mean, you might think somebody's hot, and I think they're horrible.
That actually happens to us when, we're standing in line or something somewhere, and you're like, that guy's hot, and I look at him, and I'm just like, I guess. Because I don't know. I'm not attracted to people based on looks.
Yeah.
So I can't say if my guy is hot or not. I don't know. I literally cannot tell.
Well, I mean, even if you're just completely aesthetically assessing someone, no two people are going to have exactly the same aesthetic standards. So, like, you know, Kate can be really attracted to the slick, well-groomed, rich corporate asshole, and Aina here might be attracted to Grizzly Adams. You don't know. She might be attracted to Ma Kettle. Who knows? Seriously, you don't know. You don't know. Don't assume.
Oh, come on, Aina. Even you can't be immune to his looks. She arches a perfect eyebrow at me because, of course, she's perfect.
Yeah, because someone who's been sick as a dog enough to miss work and school for over a day has a perfect eyebrow. Yeah. Not like an eye shit caked eyebrow or like a woogly weird eyebrow that hasn't been plucked in a week or two because you've been preparing for finals. No, it's a perfect eyebrow. Or did you go out for a face wax and a Brazilian while you were eating the soup? I'm sorry, I'm being increasingly bitter.
I think we were bitter when we started reading this.
Crap. Oh, back comes Aina's crap.
Yes.
Crap. I distract her with flattery. Always a good ploy.
No, you didn't.
Crap.
What? That sentence doesn't mean anything in regards to what we've just been reading. What is the point of this sentence?
Doesn't make any sense, period.
I mean, you could say that sarcastically, but you have said nothing. She was the one speaking. I don't understand. Words do not work like this. They just don't.
Now you see what I mean by 8th grade level writing. It's not really...
People can write even better than that in 8th grade.
Yeah. Well, I did write better than this in 8th grade, I know, but I mean, like, seriously.
I mean, well, I probably didn't. Mine was probably filled with all kinds of typos, but...
I mean, typos, that's what a proofreader's for. But seriously, like, really, for real.
You probably would have got a lot more out of him. In what manner?
Oh, God. I doubt that, Aina. Come on, he practically offered you a job. No, he...
Wait, who's talking? I thought she was saying that.
I thought, who knows? Given that I foisted this on you at the last minute, you did very well. You did not do well at all, and that was a horrible interview.
Wait, I didn't hear that.
Given that
you said I doubt that Aina, and then I ranted, and then I just completely missed this one sentence.
Okay, come on. He practically offered you a job. He did not. Given that I foisted this on you at the last minute, you did very well. She did not. She glances up at me speculatively. If she is stating these things as fact, why is she speculating when she is glancing at you? Also, enough with the fucking adverbs. Enough with the adverbs. I make a hasty retreat into the kitchen, so you just got up and left the room. That's not awkward at all.
Yeah, I'm totally not having a one-sided conversation with my friend, so fuck her. I'm gonna go make dinner. So what did you really think of him? Damn, she's inquisitive. Didn't you just kind of... Whatever. Why can't she just let this go? Think of something, quick. Why not just be honest? I thought he was hot, but he was an asshole. And I felt really stupid being there, asking these shitty questions of yours, and then I left.
I felt really awkward, I fell over, and I'm reconsidering our friendship, Kate.
I ripped apart the worst one I've ever done. And then I had to go into the bathroom and change my underwear.
It took like 5 minutes. It took like 5 minutes. God.
It's like that. It's like those ones that are really loud, and then they get like this high pitched little squeal, and you're just like, end already!
Yeah.
Damn!
And then you think they're done, and they start again, and it's like, where was all of this? Am I a frog? Am I secretly a frog? He's very driven, controlling, arrogant. Scary, really, but very charismatic.
Didn't you just describe this to yourself? Why are you reiterating this shit? You've already fucking said it!
Yep, And even in the same words. That's the thing. She's used the same words and she just repeats them out loud as she thinks them.
Stop copy-pasting!
Damn, she's inquisitive. Why can't you just say she's curious or she's nosy? You know? Why can't you just let this go? Think of something. Quick. Oh, wait, shit, I just jumped back a paragraph.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, where are you? I'm like, I don't see that.
I hate this story.
It's tricking you to reread shit you've already read. It's in my hell. It's in my hell. It's trolling you.
It's trying to trap us for eternity. I add truthfully as I peer round the door at her, hoping this will shut her up once and for all. If you don't want to talk about it, just say, I don't want to talk about it.
Why is there a door into the kitchen? Why is there a door into the kitchen?
Also, why don't you just say, I need to study, I don't want to talk about this? Like, if you're really that uncomfortable talking about it, don't talk about it!
I don't even know what's wrong to talk about this other than you still feel like you're stupid after all that crap that happened, like falling face first into his office.
Well, you know.
You, comma, fascinated by a man. Oh, okay, I was reading that sentence wrong. I was like, why is that comma there? And then I'm like, oh, I didn't read the rest of the sentence because I'm pissed off. You, fascinated by a man. That's a first. Well, if she wants to be a lesbian and date girls.
Yeah, or if she's not.
Which apparently she's in a relationship with you, or at least sleeping with you.
Yeah.
As we've established.
And it doesn't even matter, like, what business of it is it of yours if she's not interested in a dude? Or any dude? Like, does she... Like, maybe she's deciding, hey, you know, I have enough stress with my schoolwork, I can't really do a relationship right now. That's perfectly reasonable. Plenty of people, even sexually active people, are like, you know, I don't need to do this to add more stress to my life while I'm doing school.
You know what I just realized?
What?
We're in chapter 2, and we're still talking about the goddamn fucking interview.
Yes. Yes, we are still talking about the interview that took all of 5 minutes in chapter 1. Yes.
She snorts. The end.
I start gathering the makings of a sandwich so she can't see my face. Unfortunately for me, I gather salad dressing, orange juice, and pickles.
Well, at least I can eat the pickles and drink the salad dressing and then follow it down by some orange juice. Though maybe I want to drink the orange juice first before I eat drink the salad dressing.
Maybe you don't want to drink the salad dressing.
Why did you... Well, maybe she's gonna use it as like a skin cream.
That's true.
And maybe that's what the pickles are for as well.
Yeah, of course it could all be for masturbatory purposes. All of
Yeah.
Pickles, salad dressing.
Assuming they're very firm pickles. And I think she might want to wash them off first before she sticks them in there, because I don't think vinegar and salt is going to feel good.
And now that I think about it, citric acid probably won't feel too good either.
Why did you want to know if he was gay? I thought you wanted to stop talking about this shit.
I'm so sorry, just that after what we were talking about.
Why did you want to know if he was gay? Incidentally, that was the most embarrassing question. The whole interview was embarrassing. You should have been ashamed of the whole thing.
It was incredibly amateurish and unprofessional.
I was mortified, and he was pissed to be asked too. Are you aware of this? I think he lifted an eyebrow, and you interpreted that as being upset about it.
Yeah, and I mean also, your friend will have listened to the entire recorded interview up to then. Probably several times. She would be able to detect whether or not he was really annoyed. But we're annoyed.
Yeah, I scowl at the memory. Not scowled, it's just scowl.
Whenever he's in the society pages, he never hesitates. Who fucking cares? Who fucking cares? You're obsessed with people.
That doesn't mean if he's straight or not. He doesn't have a date. He could like animals for all you know.
This Kate Apple is so obsessed with people's relationships. It's like, oh, you aren't immune to his looks. Oh, you interested in that?
Because it's supposed to be a relationship book, so you have to have somebody obsessed with relationships.
Exactly. All of these people are so stereotypical. It is so embarrassing. It's just like someone went through the big bag of stereotypes and decided, oh yes, the best friend needs to be the one that's obsessed about relationships. Oh, this one's the one that likes indie rock and she works at a hardware store. She's a girl. And this one is the cool cucumber who's the head of a CEO of a corporation and he's a real asshole but he's sexy and he's young and also did I mention he's young and oh my god. I think I broke something then, I don't know.
Maybe that was her sanity snapping.
Yeah, I think no, that's gone. Long since gone.
Are you sure? It seems like it comes back to us momentarily before it flies out the window again.
Yeah, well, it does that. It does that.
Rubber bands.
I'm a rubber band girl. No one's.
Tiny rubber bands. I'm just thinking of that song now.
Rubber band girl?
No, I forget what the song actually is called, but he makes reference to a tiny rubber band. Like his best friend's a tiny rubber band.
I don't know that one.
You probably wouldn't be familiar with it. It was like, I think in the early 90s or something that came out. And it was kind of more the kind of music Kelvin listens to.
Yeah, I was making an oblique reference to a Kate Bush song that I was pretty sure you had not heard. And I'm pretty sure that nobody listening to our program has actually heard, so it was just like completely selfish.
Yeah, they're gonna go look it up now.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, Rubber Band Girl, what the hell?
I wanna say somebody wanted me to ask you something. I don't remember what that was now. But anyway.
Well, damn it, now I'm gonna worry.
No, it wasn't anything bad. I just don't remember what it was.
I know, but I'm still gonna worry.
Maybe it was something Anna was asking me. I don't know. Anna, not this Anna. Anal. Whatever.
Yeah, not Anna.
The one from Sweden that we'd like to punch in the face for MIL.
No, I like Anna. I am still kind of disappointed at my inner life, but yes, I like Anna.
So far. It was embarrassing. The whole thing was embarrassing. I am glad I'll never have to lay eyes on him again.
Oh, Anna, it can't have been that bad. I think he sounds quite taken with you. What is your obsession? What is your damn...
You already said this before. Why did you repeat the exact same damn phrasing? I hate you.
Obviously, she is not interested. It doesn't matter if he is quite taken with her. She does not want to see the dude again. Do not be obsessed over people's relationships when they clearly don't have any interest.
Oh, okay, it is my turn. I don't know why I was thinking you were supposed to keep reading there. Taken with me, now Kate's being ridiculous. Because she wasn't being ridiculous the first time she said this crap.
The first 2 or 3 times she said that crap.
Double crap.
Would you like a sandwich?
Please.
Okay, so you felt it absolutely essential to have the sandwich exchange, but yet you did not find it necessary to actually make it seem like the guy was speaking in a way that 27-year-olds don't speak, or to develop what Mrs. Clayton was telling you to do, which was go into the stockroom and restock the shelves.
Jace meowed. In case anybody heard that.
We talked no more of Shitlord that evening, much to my relief. Once we've eaten, I'm able to sit at the dining table with Kat, and, while she works...
Wait, you have a dining table?
You have a dining table, and you only sit at it after you've eaten. After you've eaten, you sit at the dining table.
How big is your apartment?
And you don't even use the dining table for what it's supposed to be used for. You sit at it after you eat. Brilliant. Brilliant. Even if you eat while you study or something, while you're on the computer, you could at least use the dining table for dining.
Well, we never did. We sat at your little bar thing there when I was
We
at
ate
your
all
house.
the time. We ate that dining table.
Well, yeah, I mean, we did, but that was more like snacking.
Yeah, but we
Kind
still ate at it. I mean, we didn't just eat somewhere else and wait until we were done to get to the dining table.
I mean, mostly that's where we had the setup, really, was on the dining table, so...
Yeah, I mean, but, while she works on her article, I work on my essay on Tess of the D'Urbervilles. So go suck a horse.
I don't even know what that is.
Tess of the D'Urbervilles is a story that, probably if you ever encounter it, it will be early on in high school and you will forget about it. It's one of those that I'm pretty sure she just put it in because she was trying to appeal to the high school level sort of.
You know, we studied Shakespeare every single year, and that was pretty much our main focus was Shakespeare in high school. I don't know anybody else who didn't study Shakespeare.
I did study Shakespeare for a couple of years, but other years I focused on other things, and some of the years we had to choose a work of classic literature and just be like, yeah, you have to write a report on this, and you have to analyze this to a certain level. Like I did James Joyce's Ulysses, I think, in junior year, I want to say. But yeah, I mean, that's why I say if you encounter it, you'll encounter it earlier in high school, because typically a lot of the equivalent of those years, a lot of the high school years that I went to, they did really emphasize Shakespeare in especially the last years, so that you would have that background, because it is such an important background, because whatever your feelings on Shakespeare, he did so much for the English language. Like his usage of the English language was so important and so formative in it. But anyway, damn, but that woman was in the wrong place at the wrong time in the wrong century. That is probably the worst commentary on Tess of the D'Urbervilles I've ever seen in my life.
Also, great for filling us in on what you're actually referencing for those of us who never had the joy or displeasure of reading that story and writing essays on it.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. By the time I finish, it's midnight, and Kate is long since gone.
You know, you could have even, just took out that entire sentence. You don't need it there.
Yep.
That's something more like you would say in passing to a friend or a random person you're engaged in a conversation with, than just leave that in a story.
Yeah, or you try and impress someone, or try and get them to identify with you because you are, oh my god, trying to appear as a part of this particular social group. It's very superficial. Like, all of the characters, all of the circumstances, the presentation, the dialogue, the choice of describing rather than actually having things happen. I make my way to my room, exhausted but pleased that I've accomplished so much for a Monday. You have not accomplished jack shit. You wrote a fucking essay. That's all you did. You farted around some asshole's office. You fell over your own feet. You cut a huge, great fart. You went to work when you didn't have to.
I curl up in my white iron bed because everything has to be fucking monochrome.
Metal, 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 metal. Anastasia Steele. God, that sounded like one of those Sunday.
See, big truck, anal asshole, take on shitlord. A battle of tires. Or something. I don't know what appeals to Monster Truck fans.
Versus Shitlord this Sunday at the Municipal Auditorium.
Tickets on sale at where was I? I bitched about the bed. Wrapping my mother's quilt. Well, of course, it's your mother's quilt. It's not a quilt or maybe a nice quilt you found at the store and bought. Did your mother make it? Was it her personal quilt she, I don't know, had made specially made for you?
She diddled on
it. And then gave it to her
daughter.
I didn't know you felt that way about your own mother. I feel slightly creepy now making that reference. I don't know. Because I made an incest reference. I feel kind of creepy now. Not reference, but a joke. Anyway, let's just keep going. Close my eyes, and I'm instantly asleep. That night, I dream of dark places, bleak white cold floors, and gray eyes.
For the rest of the week, I throw myself into my studies and my job at Clayton's. Kate is busy too, compiling her last edition of her student magazine before she has to relinquish it to the new editor, who really should have been the one to do this, especially since she was ill. What is wrong with them just taking it early? Well, also cramming for her finals. By Wednesday, she's much better, and I no longer have to endure the sight of her pink flannel with too many rabbits' PJs. You're an asshole.
Also, why do we always need to know it's filled with rabbits? Are we obsessed with the rabbits on her PJs?
Also,
Also, did she never take these PJs off to have them washed?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, didn't she wash them in that time? Wouldn't it be kind of unhygienic to wear them for the entire rest of the week plus Wednesday? Like, if you assume that this is basically a week cycle.
What's
that was my chair. I'm sorry. I tried to pretend it didn't.
Okay.
I thought you hadn't heard it. but like, it seems very unhygienic if you're ill and you're wearing those pajamas constantly and you're wearing them for a week. You're wearing the same pajamas constantly, like all day, all night.
Maybe she has multiple copies of those same pair of pajamas.
That would be better, I guess. But that's still kind of scary if you have like several pairs of the exact same pajamas, like several sets of these pink rabbit pajamas. Anyway, whatever. I call my mum in Georgia because, of course, you have a mum in Georgia to check on her, but also
because she has to be a Southern belle, because she's a lady.
Yeah,
and we all know how Southern belles are ladies.
And of course, she has to.
And she doesn't talk with an accent at all. Nobody comments on the fact that she has a Southern drawl.
I mean, even if she doesn't, that could have been an interesting story element, her trying to hide her roots. Or if this is really just very faithful to Twilight, her basically not having much of a relationship with her mother because her mother sleeps around a lot and moves around a lot. Who cares? Because we didn't care enough to actually work it into the story.
Could be worse. She could talk like Gambit.
I don't know. I mean, Gambit's that kind that's like, even if you don't understand what he's saying, it actually might be better if you didn't understand what he's saying, because some of these people, they're pretty, but when they actually try and be smart, you're just like, honey, you're pretty, you don't have to be smart, please stop trying. It's just like, don't speak, you'll ruin it. I'm going to get such hate mail.
Yeah, I was going to say, that'd be really rude and sad to say this on
But it's true. There are so many people that are just like, you're pretty, so you don't have to be smart, so just stop speaking. Stop speaking now.
Let's keep going before we dig our hole even deeper.
But also, so she can wish me luck for my final exams.
Because that's the only reason I call Mom.
Yes, because her wishing me luck is so important to my life. Not preparation or anything like that, obviously. She proceeds to tell me about her latest venture into candle making. My mother is all about new business ventures. Fundamentally, she's bored and wants something to occupy her time, but she has the attention span of a goldfish, because of course we have to have a quirky mother figure, because the father doesn't figure into it if he's even still alive.
So she's like my brother.
So, yeah, it's a quirky mum. Quirky mum.
I guess.
I wonder if she's got peanut butter heels like Bella's mother. Let's find out. It'll be something new next week. She worries me. I hope she hasn't mortgaged the house to finance this latest scheme. Honey, candle making is not that expensive. Not that expensive. If you are legitimately worried about your mother mortgaging the house to support her candle making habit, you've got a problem. Or your mother has a problem. Probably both.
I don't know. Maybe she spent $300 on that like Mom and I did books once.
I stand by my opinion. If you are going to mortgage your house to support your candle making hobby, there's a problem.
Well, I was just saying because we really did spend $300 on
books.
I know, but I mean discount books.
Still, though, I mean.
But I'm saying like a nice hobby can ruin you if you're like me and a bibliophile. Because I was joking about this with ch2a and Hawk earlier about how earlier in the week when I was out running errands, like I basically had to make myself not stop by the bookstore because my brain was like, just stop by the bookstore and hang out. Like you don't have to buy anything. ... Too expensive. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Know what I'm saying? And I'm like, no, I already have enough books and not enough bookshelves. If I did make a purchase of anything, I should buy bookshelves. But anyway, I don't know why I got into a tangent about this. I was trying to talk about something and it failed.
No, it's okay. And I hope that Bob, because I couldn't think of a more generic name, her relatively new but much older husband, is keeping an eye on her now that I'm no longer there.
Much older. Is your mother goldfishing? Is he got money?
Well, you know...
I mean, she could really... I mean, they could really be in love, but you make it sound like maybe he's got something she wants, and it's not his love.
Yeah, of course we won't explore it, because God forbid we actually explore a character below.
Yeah, that might be more interesting, that romance.
Or have anything but superficial characters that are superficially and shallowly presented. Yes, well, as far as I know...
Not like they're going to actually factor into this book any, so whatever.
Honestly, this might as well be the same Bob that Laura Palmer knew. He's keeping an eye on her now that I'm no longer there. He does seem a lot more grounded than husband number 3. Because quirky.
Yeah. How are things with you, Anna? Anal? Whatever.
For a moment
care.
I hesitate, and I have Mom's full attention.
I'm
Anna,
fine.
have you met someone? What the fuck? Who does this? When does this actually happen in reality?
And why would that suddenly be your conclusion based on her saying, I'm fine?
She's going through an extremely stressful period. She's going to have finals soon. Of course she is going to sound off. Don't just assume that she's found someone. Who would actually believe that someone would find the most opportune moment to be right before finals and ending projects like essays? Who would actually be stupid enough to assume that? Apparently this woman. Wow, how does she do that? Well, I guess a load of illogic and a load of irrationalism. The excitement in her voice is palpable.
No, Mom, it's nothing. You'll be the first to know if I do.
Ana, you really need to get out more, honey. You worry me.
She has a job. She's studying for school. She's not going to have time to get out and do anything unless she wants to fail. And horribly. Mom, I'm fine. How's Bob? As ever distracted in the best policy. Who? You? Or trying to distract her? Did it work? I don't know. You didn't fucking say.
Later that evening, I call Ray my stepdad. Oh, I guess we didn't need to hear more from this conversation. To hell with Mom.
Then why include it?
Why was this even in there?
Just say I called Mom, she asked me some stuff and wished me luck on my studies. Then I called my stepfather and, it was all nice and stuff and it was okay. And then I went and studied my ass off some more and then went to work.
Yeah. Or even just don't say any of it. Just concentrate on the stuff that's really important. Don't just hop around. If it's not important, why should we slog through it? We don't even like these characters. We have no reason to. This isn't even...
I mean, we're just introducing characters to say she has a background in a story.
Basically this is trying to make her look interesting by introducing a lot of tertiary characters that are never going to come up again, that we don't care about ultimately. And it's stupid anyway to be like, oh yes, her mum is so quirky and this makes her a more likable character. How?
Not really. Makes her mom interesting, not really her.
Seriously,
I'd rather read about the mom. She's got all these hobbies and
she's already a more interesting person than Ana. We have only been with her for half a page, and we cut her off in the middle of her conversation.
Oh, that would be an interesting story. I just realized. If for some reason it was the mom, maybe the mom was a reporter or something, and she went and introduced, and then you could have an age gap romance.
Yeah, see, that would be.
And I'm immediately more interested in this.
And especially since she's already married, so that would add another dimension of, what's going on? What does Bob think? It's
Except
Bob.
I would pick a better name than Bob.
Yeah. But seriously, that would be a way more interesting story because it would immediately come with a kind of a tension. It would come with a conflict, and you would have these characters that already, even in the slight time we have spent with them, in the very slight time we have touched upon them, are so much more interesting than our actual main character, who is a cipher. They're a placeholder.
insert yourself here into this.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's all Aina is. She is just a character that the readers.
You know, it's sad that I keep forgetting I'm reading an actual story that was published, and I keep referring to it as a fanfic.
Well, it is a fanfic.
Yeah, it pretty much is.
It really doesn't matter if something is published formally. It never did. People that, and I think this is hard to get for people that have never worked in publishing or really aren't bibliophiles at all, but especially for someone like, if you've worked in writing at all, if you worked in the book industry in any way, you become very, very aware that there is nothing really that separates fan fiction that someone uploads on the internet to something that you see in a bookshop. You still have to look at it. You still have to assess whether or not you like it, whether or not it's decent. A publisher's stamp on it and a price tag is not an indication of value or worth.
First of all, it is objective to the person viewing the book.
Yes.
And what they like in the first place. See, Michael Bay's Transformers. 3 people went to see this. That'd be me, my brother, who's a huge Transformers fan, and my mother. My brother hated it. It was stupid and awful. I didn't like it because it was nonsensical and the plot didn't make any fucking sense and you couldn't tell the Transformers apart. Mom loved it because it was robots fighting. And that's what Transformers is. And there you go. 3 different people had 3 different reasons for either liking it or not liking it. And for Mom, it was just to see robots fighting each other. It didn't matter if she could recognize them or not. They were robots fighting each other. The same thing happened when we watched the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Me and Kelvin, we really liked it because we thought the characters were, the situation was interesting, the characters were interesting. Mom didn't because it was more about the characters than about them fighting zombies and seeing a lot of zombies.
Honestly, I hated it because I hated it.
I liked it, but I could understand somebody not liking it.
Yeah, one of my first and major exposures to the whole zombie film genre was the original Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead is still my favorite of that series, but I really like Dawn of the Dead. And when I saw the remake, I was just like, well, it wasn't even really a remake. It was just sort of like it basically just had people in a mall. That was the only real. And I was just so disappointed. And I was just like, this really shouldn't have taken the name. It's nothing like it could have been. It's one of those that I feel like could have been really, really respectable if it had just taken an original name, like it had just been its own thing.
Yeah.
I really have a lot of contempt for things that will take the name of something that is earlier and older and often more loved, and they won't even do anything with it. Like just like I said, it's not even a remake. It should have been its own thing. Like literally the only similarity is that they're all holed up in a shopping mall. And it could have been its own thing so much stronger.
Yeah. Well, that's also something to consider. Have I actually watched the original or, read the original or whatever? And that can also affect enjoyment of remakes or things inspired by, and which, by the way, I haven't. I've seen like the end of the original, and that's about it.
Yeah, I really think that it's kind of like when a series is very, critically acclaimed, or everybody says, "Oh, you've got to read this. It's so great." You go into it and expectations are high. If you've seen the original and you really liked it, and something has that same title, you go into it with a certain level of expectation of excellence. And I think most of us know, if something is a remake, we should not get our hopes up. We should not be unrealistic in our expectations. Like, it's never going to live up to the original.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't see why they feel the need to take that name of the original if they're not even going to do something that's really even the same sort of thing. Like, it's not even the same aim. It's not the same goal. It may have something in common, but it's not the same thing at all.
Oh, yes, we should get back to the story.
Yeah, sadly, I'm running out of steam, and we've got 5 pages to go.
I'm
It's
so
okay.
sorry. But hopefully we can get there.
Later that evening I call Ray, my stepdad, Mom's husband number 2, the man I consider my father and the man whose name I bear, which would...
So he was Ray Steele? Is that supposed to be a pun or a nod to something? Also, if he's your stepdad, it's obvious that unless your actual father got married to a man, it's pretty obvious that husband number 2 was married to your mother, since that is what you are talking about and have kind of been talking about. So I don't know why I would assume otherwise. Again, unless your dad married a dude.
Well,
which is possible.
I mean, we're getting a character far more interesting than our main characters. It's a brief conversation. In fact, it's not so much a conversation as a one-sided series of grunts in response to my gentle coaxing. Ray is not a talker, but he's still
do you have a secret relationship with your stepdad? Is this like a 900 number you call for each of you to get off or something?
1-900 Ray Bob. But he's still alive, which is kind of needless to say, since obviously you're talking on the phone with him.
Yeah, because I don't know why you would be calling him unless you have a phone to heaven or hell or whatever the fuck you believe.
Why would you even have to say, but he's still alive? Obviously he's still alive. You're calling him on the phone, you stupid bint. He's still watching soccer on TV.
Apparently he's like the mother in Waterboy, where she just watches her oldest play football over and over and over again because he's dead and gone, and she's overprotective of her only other son.
But he's still alive, as obviously as you're making a phone call to him, he's still watching soccer on TV and going bowling and fly fishing or making furniture when he's not, because he's a stereotypical stereotype like everybody else in this story.
Yeah, his job is carpenter, so when he's not doing these other things to, have fun, I guess, he's building furniture and shit.
Ray is a skilled carpenter, and the reason I know the difference between a hawk and a handsaw.
Or maybe you do because you work in a...
Yeah.
You just said where you work. You fucking dumbass.
All seems well with him, which is more than I can say for our heroine. I can't believe she's a heroine, but she is a heroine.
She's not she might be heroine. Not a heroine, but, like drugs.
No, she's not that compelling.
Well, drugs aren't compelling to me, but...
Well, they're compelling when you're addicted to them.
Well, I guess. She's like heroin sifting through a little glass. I'm looking for someone to save her ass. Okay, I'm sorry. So, just totally went to System of a Down, then had to stop and come back.
Go towards the light, Cassie. Go towards the light.
I love you, System of a Down. Sing me more of your weird-ass, mind-bending, fast-talking songs.